All right, here we are for the last notes of Unit 2. This one's deductive reasoning, which is the process of reasoning logically and drawing a conclusion from given, oh my goodness, given facts and statements or information. Given information, basically. So, deductive reasoning has two important laws that we talk about. So it says if you're given a conditional statement, if your hypothesis is true, so if the first part, the part right after the if, is true, then the conclusion is true. So that means that if you have P implies Q and P is true, therefore Q is true. And this 3-dot symbol means therefore, because again, in math we don't like to write any more than absolutely necessary. So if P implies Q is true and P is true, then Q has to be true, which is, hopefully that makes sense. If it rains, then the ground is wet. It rained, so the ground is wet. Things like that. All right, so use the law of detachment to give a valid conclusion. If it's not possible, write no valid conclusion. So our given, if Mark saves $30, then he can buy a new video game. So these are our P and Q. It says that Mark saves $30. That's P. It's saying that P is true. Therefore, Mark can buy a new video game. Pretty simple, right? It's like if he does this, he can do that. He did this, so he gets to do that. Next one says, if a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is also a parallelogram. So again, that's our P and our Q. Quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus. P is true. Therefore, quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Again, hopefully that's pretty simple, straightforward. Okay. So, given if you are 18 years old, then you can register to vote. It says that Olivia is not 18 years old. That is not RP. This is just some other statement, so we can't draw a conclusion from this. Right? We know Olivia is not 18 years old, but we don't know anything else. So we can't say whether or not Olivia can register to vote. Right? Next we have, if the sum of the measures of two angles is 90 degrees, then they are complementary. It says that measure of angle J is 58 and the measure of angle K is 32. Just checking in, 58 degrees plus 32 degrees. That does equal 90 degrees. So angle J and angle K are complementary. Is our conclusion. Okay. The last one says, if you plan to attend prom, Then you must purchase a ticket. Sarah purchases a prom ticket, but you'll notice how this is not our hypothesis. This is the conclusion of our statement. So technically we don't know if Sarah's planning to attend prom. We have no valid conclusion here. So for the law of detachment, it only works if your given is that P happened, not that Q happened. So if it gives you something from Q, that doesn't tell you enough. Right, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and flip the page now. To there. Next we have law of syllogism. So this allows you to draw a conclusion if you're given two conditional statements, where the conclusion of the first statement is the hypothesis of the second statement. So that says, if you know that P implies Q is true, and Q implies R is true, therefore P implies R is true. And again, in case you didn't get it on the last side, that 3 dot symbol means therefore. So this is kind of like similar to a rule we have in algebra as well, where it's like if A plus B equals C and B plus D, never mind. I thought I had a thing and I don't, and we're just going to move on from that. Okay, law of syllogism. Basically just if P implies Q, Q implies R, then you can go straight from P to R. So, given if it is Saturday, then Jake has a baseball tournament. If Jake has a baseball tournament, then he will need to pack his lunch. So it is Saturday is P. Jake has a baseball tournament is Q. Jake has a baseball tournament comes up again, so that's still Q. And that means he will need to pack his lunch is R. So our new statement goes straight from P if it is Saturday. Then Jake will need to pack his lunch. So keep in mind that we can't just use he because it is Saturday doesn't tell us who he is, so we do need to specify that he is Jake when we rewrite this one. All right, given if a number is divisible by 12, then it is divisible by 6. Okay, so that's our P and our Q. If a number is divisible by 6, that's Q again. Then it is divisible by 3. That's our R. And we do have Q as our conclusion, followed by Q as our hypothesis. So we can rewrite this if P then R. If a number is divisible by 12, then it is divisible by 3. And that is true as well. Actually, that seems more likely to be true than this. I can't imagine someone having a baseball tournament every Saturday. Sounds terrible. Anyway, next is if a quadrilateral is a square, then it is a rectangle, so P and Q. If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, that's Q again, then it has 4 right angles is R. And again, we've got rectangle, rectangle, so we can rewrite this one. If a quadrilateral is a square, then it has 4 right angles. All right. And that one is also true. Factually true, guaranteed. Every square has 4 right angles. Okay. So then we've got, if it is sunny this weekend, then you will go boating, P and Q. And then our next statement says, if it is sunny this weekend, then you will wear shorts. That's P again and R. So we can't really make any conclusions from this. So we're just going to write no valid conclusion. Right? We got 2 things with the same hypothesis, which doesn't tell us, anything that we can make a conclusion from. All right. The next is, if you shop at Target, then you will use your Target red card, P and Q. If you do not use your Target red card, that's R, so that's different, because this is you will, and this is do not. You will not, you do not. You will not get 5% off. So I guess that would make that like S or something. So because these are 4 different statements, none is like a repeated conclusion to hypothesis, we cannot make a valid conclusion. All right. So then we have, if it snows, then school will be canceled, P and Q. If school is canceled, there's our Q, then students will need to make up a day of school. Yes, that's the good thing about it never snowing here, is we don't have to make up days of school for snow. So we can rewrite this one. If it snows, then students will need to make up a day of school. And that is the end of our information about deductive reasoning, the law of detachment, and the law of syllogism. You don't need to remember those words. You just need to remember sort of the basic premise of each, right? If you can figure out how to do this, I don't really need you to know what the words law of syllogism mean. To be honest, I don't usually keep those in my mind. So, yeah, and that is all we've got for today. So, I will see you next time.